All right, we have a pop savior on the podcast. At least that's how she identifies herself. Jane Bell is here. Jane, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. I think that's just the first question I want to tackle is how are you saving pop music? Because you label yourself as a pop savior, like I said. So what's going on? How are we being saved today?
Oh my God. Well, I'm here to spread the gospel, the good word. No, I'm a pop music fanatic, and for me, pop has been dead for a while. So my mission statement as an artist is to kind of save it, you know?
Hmm. When you think about that statement, like you said, what are some of the things that you feel like, why has pop been like kind of dying in a way? Is it because of different trends, like certain artists? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I just feel like artistry as an art form has been lost a bit. It feels so disconnected almost. As I've been saying, it feels like beautiful people making beautiful music and such a lack of real artistry, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I could see that. Like, I think artists are really trying to step things up nowadays because it's always about how dramatic can you be in a way. Whether it's like, for example, Billie Eilish doing like billboards to promote an album, or people like just dropping announcements or not even promoting like things, to like even Beyonce doing music videos for every song. Like, artistry is taken on a whole new like form nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's such a weird place, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to kind of, do my thing now. It's such an honor, and like I mean, just like you said, I'm here to save pop music.
Do you have like any like special influences, like artists that have really inspired you to go into pop?
Oh, absolutely. Like it was 2009, I'll tell you that. That was the year that I heard Britney Spears for the first time, and my life was over. Like, if it was pop music from then on, I became devoted, like insanely devoted.
Yeah, and I mean she's a good one too to really get into the realm. Like, I think 2009, what year was that? Was that the Circus album when that came out? Or was that a little bit after? I can't remember.
I think Circus was 2008.
Yeah. So I mean
Yes,
around
yes.
that realm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean that's like a great era for her. Like hands down probably one of the best if I had to say.
Oh yeah, like the first pop song I heard was If You Seek Amy, and it was over. Like I just didn't know that music could be so like, fun and like for lack of a better word, cunty.
Oh my God, yes, we love that. So is music not something you always saw yourself doing? Like when you were younger, did you have different aspirations?
Music has always been, I think, well, I discovered the Britney Spears in like elementary school or something like that. I don't know. I lost track. Time is a blur lately. But once I found that, that was my devotion. And then I immediately like got into music, started playing instruments, started doing classical music, really just dove in head first. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been steamrolling ever since.
Right. Was that kind of rationale for you going to Berkeley? Because you're studying there currently, right?
Yeah, I'm currently at Berkeley. This is my last in-person semester. So, but I wasn't actually going here originally. I transferred from university back home in Florida. I was studying, ironically enough, for my associate's geology. And then for my bachelor's, I was going to do languages and translation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a completely different shift, but here we are.
So what can you tell us about like rocks and stones? You said geology. Like, do you like have stones in your house and they have like different meanings or something?
No, I'm not one of those. No, I studied the like properties of it. It was like really boring science shit. Like,
Right. I mean, music is more creative, so I think you made a good decision, it sounds.
oh, absolutely. I did an internship on a boat and it was the worst experience ever. Like I found out scientists do not have personalities.
Mm. Breaking
It was
news,
insane.
people.
Yeah, breaking news. You heard it here.
Yeah, not where I'd want to be. I'd rather be with the collectives and the creatives and things like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I knew that it wasn't the right path for me after that internship, which is why I switched to languages because I love language. And to me, like, music is language, it's communication.
Mm-hmm. No, totally. Well, the reason that you kind of came across my radar was your single Mother 8 that you put out earlier this year, I believe, has been like blowing up on TikTok. I was just doing a quick dive before we hopped on. And right now, currently, like it's almost at 2 million streams on Spotify. And one of your videos, you've done multiple on TikTok, has over 1 million views. Like, how how does that even work? Like, how do you think that song, like, were you expecting that song to take off, if anything? Like, how do you think it just kind of happened?
I was not even in the slightest. I wasn't even going to release it, to be honest. Like that month, I was not going to release it. I had a different song planned. But then my friend was like, "It's Women's History Month. You got to do it." And I was like, "Oh, you're so right." So then I released it. I saw like the first one I got had a little bit of traction. I was like, "This is so weird for me." So then I did another and another, and then it just kept growing and growing. And I remember one day I saw someone's video had like 2 million views, and I was like, "What is going on?" And then, you know, it just kept steamrolling.
I mean, like, talk about like your friend saying dropping it during Women's History Month. Like, the inspiration for the song goes back to literally the first woman, Eve. Was
Yeah.
that like the inspo, would you say, for the song?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it was definitely Eve inspired. It actually was inspired by this girl in my class who
Mm.
it was a songwriting class that we had, and this girl Manisha, she would walk into class every day and be like, "Girl, you ate. You ate that up." And then I was like, "This is genius. I need to write a song for her." So I gave it to her as a gift the last day of the semester, and she loved it.
I was gonna say, yeah, she didn't take it, huh? That's interesting.
No, not for her to like really. I just was like, "I wrote a songy and I want you to hear it. I wrote it about you."
Oh,
And
I see.
and she was
Gotcha.
obsessed. She was going crazy.
That's amazing. Would you say like that's common at Berkeley, where it's kind of like you guys are getting inspired by each other? Because I mean, there's so many of you.
There is, but my problem with Berkeley is that there's not a lot of pop girlies.
Hmm.
Like everyone here does singer-songwritery stuff, which is so like weird to me because, at like a music university that talks about like, popular music, I was like one of the few. I can only count on a hand how many people actually do popular music, or like
Hmm.
pop music per se.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Berkeley just like I feel like so many people come out of that school with like what you said, like kind of more the singer-songwriter or even like the jazz kind of direction. But yeah, I can't think of a lot of pop girlies like you're saying. So maybe you'll be the first one.
I hope so. We'll see. Stay tuned.
So I mean, like Mother 8 was obviously your song that's like really picked up, but you also put out an album this year, and I think it was your first album, right?
It was, yes.
So I mean, what was the process like for that? Because you've put out singles for a little bit before, but you haven't put out like a full body of work. So I assume it was like a different process.
Oh yeah, like that album In My Dreams, it really was kind of proof of concept to show myself that I could do it. Because before that, I was writing for other people, like
Hmm.
primarily, always writing for others. There's one like hip hop rap kind of guy who I was writing for a while. I did a country session. I thankfully got in a session for Kimbra, if you know her.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wrote for her. So it was really fun just writing for others. But I wanted to prove to myself that I could do my own project, which is where In My Dreams came from. But honestly, like looking back on it, it doesn't feel as authentic.
Hmm.
Or it feels a little too authentic. That's the problem.
What do you mean by that? Like it's a too like forward?
I always, I'm very particular about Tara and Jane because Tara is like the person, me, and then Jane is the art.
Hmm.
And I feel like that album is very Tara. Like it was very personal and it came from the heart, whereas I want my music to come from the brain, if that makes sense.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone explain music that way. Like usually we associate it with coming from the heart, but you'd rather it be a little bit more, for lack of better words, calculated. Is that right?
Oh, 100%. Like listening to If You Seek Amy for the first time, that to me was like, it made me think. And that was my introduction to pop music, pop making me think instead of feel.
Hmm.
And that's what I love about life. I mean, just I'm so much of a thinker. So like everything I'm doing is so like calculated in a sense where I want to see like, how this word reacts with this note in the beat and like it's very meticulous.
Right. That was actually going to be my next question is so when you're making music, and it's kind of this is like a two-parter, are you being specifically like extra meticulous with the songwriting and the producing? Because do you produce your own tracks as well?
Yeah, for this second project, I've been producing like everything so far. Yeah, Mother 8 was all me. My best friend Anne, I had her EQ the drummy so I could include her on the credits. And but I hate production. I hate producing. It's completely out of necessity. And I hope I get to the point where I don't need to produce anymore. So,
Is there
but
like I was gonna say, is there something about it you don't like or
it's not for me. You know, like I have the idea, but I feel like there's so many people who could do it better. Like I do it out of pure desperation. Like I need to get this out. Like um sorry, but what was your question again to follow up on the second half?
oh no, that was yeah, I guess the other thing was, how specific are you making these decisions? Because like you said, you want to be meticulous. So it could be a matter of like, rewriting a song or like a hook like over and over again. Like I guess the bigger question is how long do you take to like put out a track versus an album? Because like we said, an album is a whole body. Like that takes months, sometimes years for people to do.
Yeah, I'm a very quick right? I always say like if I get the right beat, the song's done that day.
Mm,
So my rule of thumb is I write the song and then if I wake up the next day with it still in my brain, it worked. And if I don't remember it the next morning, then I gotta rewrite it. And that's how it goes with pretty much everything that I write, you know, whether I made the beat or whether the beat was given to me. It's usually a matter of me top lining the beat and seeing if I can remember it the next day. And if I do, then we're done.
that's yeah. I mean, I think that's a good system. It seems to be working out for you. Like we said, Mother 8 is like blowing up right now. Like, what if have you seen, like you said, you saw one video where somebody used it on TikTok? Like, what has been the reception mostly from people?
It's been crazy. There's been so much love, so much hate, so much in between, just so much of everything. You know, Berkeley doesn't prepare you for this because it's just so, I mean, out of the ordinary. I'm shocked still. Like every day I wake up kind of like, what is happening?
I mean, like, what are some of the hate things? Like, can you remember any of like, comments or things that people have said that have like been hateful?
Oh my God. So many hate comments from like, very religious people saying that my song is blasphemous. So many
Hmm.
from people comparing me to artists all the time. Like, it's so funny. I don't listen to music, if I'm being completely honest with you. I make music and that's the reason why I'm making music because I haven't enjoyed listening to music in so many years.
Hmm.
The only thing I listen to is break-ins. Shout out the best artist ever. Oh my God. But so then people kept comparing me to Aisha Erotica and Chase Icon and my best friend calls me and he's like, I think it's so funny that everyone thinks you're copying them because I know you don't know who they are. And I'm like, I don't, I really don't. And I looked him up and I'm like, they're cool as fuck. But like, I promise I wasn't copying anybody. Like that song was completely from the brain. Like, but honestly, I just ignore the haters. I'm just doing my thing, you know?
I mean, I can totally relate to that. And a lot of people don't know this about me either, but I obviously podcast, but I don't really listen to podcasts because I feel like in what you were saying too, it kind of runs that risk of you almost being influenced in a way, especially if you're hearing shit that you don't like. It's like, how can I create what I want to create if I'm being influenced by people that I don't necessarily like or want to emulate? So I think that's hilarious that, I think that's natural in music for people to compare artists to each other. But that's such an interesting case that you present. It's like, you don't even listen to these people, but like you might know who they are. So it's like, how could you even say that?
It's, people are gonna hate no matter what you do. It's just I keep telling people who are like defending me in the comments, I'm like, just ignore it. We don't speak ill of the dead. Just move on. Just carry on, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, so how long have you been doing music seriously, would you say? Like, I think you put out a track for the first time like a year or two ago, is that right? So has it only been like a short time since you've been actually like releasing stuff?
Yeah, under my name, it's been like since I think that was like March of last year. That was my first track, REM. That's
Mm.
crazy. But I was writing for other people. One of the songs on my album was actually like written for a a rap hip hop artist that ended up putting out instead. Um but yeah, it hasn't been that long of me releasing my own stuff, which is why I'm just super grateful. But songwriting I've been doing for a while.
Okay, gotcha. So I mean, does that kind of has that helped you kind of go into the other end of like putting your own stuff out? Like if you write for other artists, does that give you a little bit more juice to write for yourself or like set things aside for yourself that you particularly like?
I think writing for Jane Bell and writing for other artists is completely like different because I feel like with other artists, it is a lot more emotional.
Mm.
And with Jane Bell, it's a lot more like strategic and a lot more thinking involved. So it's nice to be able to write for other people and like, kind of relax a bit and let my cold, dead heart kind of, come to the surface for a little.
I'm like, hold on, we need to like hang on to that comment for 1 second. This cold, like dark aura that you're giving, is this like the image that you want to project for people? Like, we're also talking about like, Mother Eight being almost like satanic in a way, or like people from the Catholic Church not liking it. Like, I guess like what kind of image do you like to have as Jane Bell?
I don't mean to be cold. I'm sorry. No, I'm totally joking. I guess my whole motto in life is just I'm totally just not taking it serious. Like I always say, if life is a simulation, like hell yeah, because I love games. Like games are cool. Um, Jane Bell is just like to me the personification of the pop that raised me. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's fun. It's something thought-provoking and exciting. And whereas Tara, like you can't see it, but I have a wall of like Pokemon plushies. Like that's all I do. Just play games and like mom, I was playing Minecraft today. Like it's just gaming all the time.
Oh my God, it's like literally Hannah Montana double life over here.
Yeah, but Jane Bell for sure is like the concept, yeah, like Mother Eight, in fact, came from the song that I wrote before it, which is God's Not Real, I Am.
Mhm.
Because I wanted to write an album, around the song God's Not Real, I Am. And that's where Mother Eight came. I'm like, okay, religious imagery, Mother Eight, Eve, let's do it.
All right, I see the logic now. Where did the logic come in for your song I Love the Boys? Because I was also listening to that earlier and I was like, there's a lot of name dropping here. So I wonder how many of these boys has she been with? And I just need
Oh
to
my
know.
God. No, 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 no. It is not serious whatsoever. It is. No, honestly, it was originally a song called Drug of Choice where I was like, didn't want to sing about anybody anymore. Like this album that I'm putting out next, like all the songs are like no love songs. No love, just no love. ABL, anything but love. But I Love the Boys was about me having a crush on one of the guys that I listed, and I didn't want to like say his name, so I said everybody's name.
Sneaky.
Yeah. But no, that song was just I wanted to do like a little bit of Monica in my life type shit, but like A to Z.
Yeah. Wow. Do you think you ever figured it out?
Figured what out. Oh, him? No. Oh God, no.
You're like, I hope not.
He'll never know. It's okay.
I think some things are better left unsaid or unheard. So,
Amen. Also because like I was dating this guy who completely was worried about me like when we were dating, he was worried about everybody. So I was like, let me prove you right.
wow.
It's so
Damn.
it's so unserious. That's what I love about it.
But like you said, like that's kind of what music is about. Like it gives you that freedom to be so unserious, but also
Yeah.
people take it seriously. It's a weird like dynamic there, but like it seems to be working for you and you seem to be putting out the music that you want to. Like, could you actually tell me a little bit more about this upcoming project you just mentioned?
Yeah, I'm working on an album and I'm super, super excited. You know, it's all very religious imagery. I don't know if it's the title yet, but the theme I've been working on is the rapture because all the good men are gone. Like, it's so unserious and I love it. It's so dark and, dark pop perfection is what I say.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's like such a wave now too. Like I've been kind of like in a dark pop like realm recently, and it just seems like that's kind of the way things are going.
Yeah, I mean, it's been my favorite thing ever since. I mean, like hearing Gaga for the first time, just like 2010, was it? 2000, 2008, 2008. Yeah, oh my God, crazy. Dark pop is in, will always would be in.
So what else like can we expect from you in the future? Like you said, you got the album coming. You're gonna finish up at Berkeley, you said this year or next year?
This is my last in-person semester, and then I have one more semester that I'm gonna do online because I'll hopefully be in LA next month,
Hmm.
working. People online are like, "Where's the video? Where's this or that?" I'm like, "I'm in school. I gotta finish this. I got like a couple weeks left, and then I'm gonna go film a video."
Oh, that's exciting. Is that out in LA or is that gonna be around here?
I'm gonna be in LA. Yeah,
So you're kind of like essentially leading yourself out there then? Like, do you kind of see yourself sticking to LA for a little bit?
yeah, absolutely. All the creatives are there, and I'm excited to become one of them.
Do you have like any connections already out there? Like you said, you've written for other artists. So like, do you think it would be easy to get into the room with other people?
Yeah, I've have actually when I was at Berkeley as a songwriter, I was scouted by Atlantic, on the writing side. But now that the artist thing's taking off, we're having all these label combos and all these like manager combos, and so now getting in the room is a lot easier than before.
Mm. It's all thanks to Mother 8, huh?
Who'd have thunk it? Like it's crazy.
This one little song about Eve like sinning, and it's just all of a sudden Jane Bell has like record labels coming after her.
Oh my God, yeah. This is my first like non-record label interview in months. It's crazy.
You're probably like coming down from a high, like, oh my God, how do I prepare for this? Like,
Yeah, oh my God, because it's so much. Next you have the album and merch and this and that, and I never thought this would be my life. I thought I'd be a
mm.
songwriter, so here we are.
Yeah, it is like uncharted territory for you, like, but are you ready for it, I guess? Like, do you think this is what you want?
Oh, 100%. Because like I remember the feeling little me got when I heard Britney and Gaga for the first time, and I think like if little me was listening to pop music right now, she would have nothing. So I want to give the little me something that I was looking forward to back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's full circle essentially for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Jane, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about Mother 8 and everything else you got going on. Like, I'm
Of
excited for
course.
you. It sounds like you're excited for you. Can't wait
Yeah,
to
it's
see
so
what you
exciting.
accomplish. Why don't you let people know where they can follow you and keep up with everything you got going on?
Hell yeah. Jane Bell sucks on literally everything from Twitter to Discord, everything, but yeah, so much music coming soon. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Of course, I'm glad we can make this happen.